Welcome back, Tim Cooper, Cooper's Automotive. All you YouTube fans out there, we got another video we're going to shoot today. 2008 Ford Expedition, and it just needs rear brakes. You can hear the indicator squealing on it, and so we'll walk you through how I do a rear brake job, and let's get started. So we're going to start on this side right here, and first thing we're going to do is I'm going to break the bleeder loose. I'm going to push that piston back in. I'm going to tell you why I'm going to break the bleeder loose. It has ABS on this system. And I've done the front brakes on this vehicle, and the ABS light came on. It went out, and it's been fine. But if you push that piston back in and there's any trash in that system and it sticks in that valve body, you can kick an ABS and then end up having to replace the valve body control assembly. So I won't take any risk on this one. So first thing, I'm going to loosen that bleeder up. A lot of times you'll get away with it. It just takes one time and then it's like, oh no. So do that. I just get in behind this caliper here, and you'll see as I'm pushing it back, that fluid's coming out of there. Okay, and I get enough that I get past it, then a lot of times I'll slide it in and then get behind the brake pad and just keep slowly moving that. And it makes it easier to push the piston back in too. Sometimes, probably have to get it so far, we might have to use the regular tool on it. Yeah, we'll get it back so far, and then I'll use the regular caliper tool to push it the rest of the way back in. We do that. There's two bolts to hold the caliper on this one, right here and right here. They have little cap protectors to keep the moisture out. I took them out. And take the caliper pins out. My next tool is going to be the Milwaukee 3/8 battery powered ratchet. I think I've got them out far enough. Then you can take a screwdriver behind the pins. You can see them enough up in there. And make sure they're out. Slide them back enough so that you can release it. So what I was doing was just basically sliding these back in, the two pins there, and look, that's not moving very easily, so we'll be lubricating that, and I'll show you how we do that. That in there. And these old pads we don't care about. Those out of our way. I'm going to set it up here so it's just not hanging on the hose. There's a couple different tools to push those back in. This one will work. Works really well. I like this one, even though it kind of offsets it a little bit. Kind of ratchets it in there. And then again, when you break that bleeder loose, as soon as I find out where I just set my 10mm down. There we go. I gotta clean my tools up. What a mess. You get so busy sometimes and you think it's not important, but it is. So you see that fluid's coming out, and I'm easing that piston back in, and it's actually seated now. Tighten it back up. If you keep the pressure on it, keep it going, usually don't even have to bleed them out. Everything works well. Set that aside. Now we got to get this rotor off of here. Going to do the shock test. Shock it. Never hit a rotor here unless you're replacing it. Always hit them right in here. And don't hit your studs or you're going to be buying studs. That doesn't work. Yeah, I don't have any lubricant sitting here. Put some brake clean on it. What's the other story is? I don't fix it, get a bigger hammer. Woo, she's on there, Dave. Giving us a fit. Let me find that penetrating oil and spray this. Okay, Dad, got that rotor coming off. There's your emergency brake shoes, and these look good. I'm gonna machine these rotors. But before you machine these rotors, you gotta clean the surface, get this rust off. You put them on the machine or put them on the car with rust on them, you could end up with a pulsating brake pedal. Both sides. All right, also, you got to go around your studs and your flange on your hub. Get that clean too. Okay. So now I'm going to machine these rotors, so we just walk over to the brake line. Follow me, Dave. It's a nice adapter. Fits a lot of different rotors. I don't have all those adapters years ago that we used to have to use to do this stuff. On brakes, you've seen how we turn rotors, but sometimes you repeat the anti-chatter belt. This one's getting short. It's been cut off a few times. Time to get a new one. Very expensive, stupid little anti-chatter belt. Put it up. Just want to touch it, just a little bit. That's it. Tiny bit. A lot of times there's a ridge on the outside edge, so you actually run it out. And then you run it back in. I will find my handle for this one day. Run all the way in. There's that rust ridge again. There we are. We're just going to cut 4 thousandths out of this. Lock it in. Lock it in. And then machine our rotor. You can tell if you get all the spots of it when you're cutting across it, it's going to be shiny all the way through with a nice fresh finish on it. Okay, so this one didn't come out clean all the way. You can see it's out around a little bit. So we got to cut this again. I try to keep my rotor thicknesses, the amounts that I take off of each side, even. So when I cut out of this rotor, I'll cut out of the other one. We got it machined, we got it smooth. Need that unidirectional finish on it with a little grind tool. And I just hit them. Like this. That's one rotor machine. Of course, we got to do the other one. We won't show you that process. All right, so we'll disconnect this one. Let's walk over to the car. We've already cleaned everything. You put your rotor on. There is one other thing that I want to do. Let me grab it. This is just Dawn dishwashing detergent mixed with some water. You want to wash these rotors off. You want to detach all that little metal particles. You don't want those metal particles from that machine getting on your rotors. I mean, getting on your pads, excuse me. We usually just dip them in a bucket of Tide and do it that way. Just wash them down, and after you get them washed down, just take your brake cleaner. Wash your soap off. Don't use just brake cleaner to try to get the metal off because it won't work. Had a blowout. Gotta get some gloves. Alright, so we did that. Pull our old brake pad out. We want to slide these pins out. We need to lubricate this. I'm just using the CRC brake system grease that's for this stuff. I shoot it in there. A lot of times I just put some down inside each of those rubbers. Wipe off the excess once you put it through. You'll see it push through. See how easily that slides now? You gotta have that or your brakes hang up or they're not gonna work correctly. We got new brake pads. We got the Napa Ultra Premiums for this one. Ceramic. We got the nice backing plate on it. So. This clip's gonna be a little stubborn. Especially if you can't see what you're doing. There we go. Get it all the way seated in. Alright, I got a little bit of grease on that pad. Wash it off with the brake cleaner. You can do that. Now the outer pad. Alright, we'll clip in our outer brake pad. Just like that. Also, one more thing that I'll do. Clean these surfaces where those pads touch. See how they touch right there? And again, a little bit of grease, just a little bit, not a lot. Make sure your hose don't get twisted up when you're putting it back on. kind of notches in the top, right there, slides in, then you got your 2 caliper bolts that will tighten up. Alright, get those tight. Dust cap's back on the end of those holes, keep the moisture out. Okay. You also got a little cap for your bleeder. Keep your dirt and your moisture out of the end of that. That's it, we're going to move to the other side. We'll put some lube on that rotor there when we vibrate that rotor off. Take the little dust cap off of our bleeder here. We'll loosen that. Alright. Then we'll grab the screwdriver. Again, start working that piston back in. We'll clean all the brake fluid up, which you see squirting all over the place. Okay, she's seated, all right? A little pressure on it. Tighten your bleeder. Now let's take that caliper off of there. Little torques on these that go down inside there. I like it. Things are going well on this job. Here we are. Make sure those little pins are backing up. Get our caliper off. Can't see what I'm doing, but we know where it's at. Again, set that up there and knock the rubber out. Just around that inside edge. Woo, that was a job. I shouldn't have said things were going well. Get in your emergency shoes. Clean, they're good. I'm sweating, it's hot today. Florida. Clean my surfaces. A lot of rotors and drums for the guys in the area. They bring them to me dirty and I clean them up. That surface good. We'll go ahead and hit these now where those pads lie. Gonna hit all those studs again. So everything's ready for reassemble. I'm not going to show turning this rotor. We'll pick back up on this when I reassemble. Rotor's machined, rotor's turned, rotor's surfaced, rotor's clean. Slid on. Back at this part, till the rotor comes out. You can see how thin these suckers were. Right down to the bare. Make sure that our caliper is seated. One more time. I believe it already is. We'll loosen that. I think I'm not a drummer. Oh, maybe you're good when we have to put that one in. Alright. Well, look at that. Got it. Tighten it. Okay, so the caliper piston is pushed all the way back into its seat. Get rid of that old brake pad. And again, slide the pins out. If they're all corroded up and dirty, these are pretty clean. You grind all this off. Or not grind it, wire wheel it off. Again, our special caliper slide pin lube. Put it in there. Smooth it up, smooth it up. Alright, make sure they're moving good. See that they are. And again, just a little bit across these surfaces. There we are. Our new inner brake pad. Those clips are tough. There, once you get them started, they go well. No matter. Those guys back out of our way. These just clip in on the outside edge. They're pretty simple. That worked out good. Again, I'm going to clean just my brake pad surfaces just a little bit. Make sure we don't have any grease on there. Make sure your hose isn't twisted. Slide it up into that notch. And hopefully right back in there. There we go. Get our pins ready to start. Tight, bottom one. Let's see if this one's going to do the same as that last one and fight us the whole way. Of course it will. That's tight enough on that. I'm going to wash down that brake fluid. Squirt it all over this stuff. And the last thing I'm going to do is let that hit the ground. Let it gravity bleed just a little bit. Open it up. Should start to notice some brake fluid running out of that. There it goes. It's dripping. Just kind of ensures a little bit that you don't have any air in there. Hopefully we don't have to bleed it after that with a person on the foot with the brake pedal. Tighten it. Dust cap. other dust caps. Okay, I'll gravity bleed the other side and put my wheels on. So that's a rear disc brake job on a 2008 Ford Expedition. Thanks again for watching. Subscribe to my channel if you like what you see.